All right, welcome again to WinternetWeb's Wired Together with your host, Melanie Winter.
And Jason Winter.
And today, as part of our spooky series for October, we are going to talk about the brain.
Spooky.
So, the brain, ha ha ha.
Well.
It's alive. Taking off of, say, old novels.
Right.
We are talking, kind of relating things to, say, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde concept of two parts of a brain. And so it does take two parts of a brain to function through and navigate through WinternetWeb technologies, neither of which means my brain.
Oh, come on now.
We are talking two parts of Jason's brain. So Jason is the brain behind the whole thing. I would call myself the ground wire, if you will.
Ground wire. I like what
to
you did
the
there.
Electrical circuitry that is
Right.
Jason's brain.
Yeah, I guess the ground wire makes sense. Without that, yeah, then it shorts. And yeah, you see me look like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes daily.
Just a bit of honesty here. It's his brain is shorted today.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this might feel as unscripted or whatever as our first episode, but
So I am going to treat it as almost like an interview.
right.
I'm
Exactly.
going to interview both little sides of the brain and
We'll see
pick
which-
at each part. You know, this regular every day.
Hopefully half shows up for each.
Right? So in the navigation of, say, the forest of hex codes and error messaging,
Oh wow, that sounds crazy.
I would be like the GPS. I'm trying to kind of pull you through
Yeah.
the woods
Yeah,
here.
you definitely
and
help a lot with that.
you know all of the ins and outs of the woods itself. So
Right.
as the two parts of the brain, we're really talking about two aspects of
Right.
WinternetWeb.
What
We
we
do
do. Yeah.
web content, web design, which
Which is
is fun and creative.
Certainly the more creative, right? You need to be in the right mindset for that.
Now, I mean, there are less fun parts like dealing with security,
Oh,
servers, things like that. But as far as like, you know, the build process, you are being
Right.
extremely creative.
Sure.
So that is the creative brain. It's tickling that one part, and then you have computer repair or computer repair,
Just dealing with
hacker
something being
situations,
compromised,
things like that.
hacks. Yeah, that's really taxing.
That can be extremely taxing on the brain, and that is pretty much more like your Mr. Hyde, your bestial version. So, you know, I've actually literally seen him listen to the computer. There's this like sound that he's listening for.
It's without it sounding too crazy. It like a frequency that I pick up on with the computer. It seems very auristic that
You know when a computer is struggling. Like you can
sometimes-
literally hear it.
I mean, it's almost like, I mean, the pattern of the hard drive and what it's doing and everything, and just like the rhythm. I guess it's one of the situations when you've been doing something for this long, you're picking up on things that end up being a pattern to which that you use to resolve it, but you can't quite explain what it was. You know, it's just whatever that is, and I don't know. So,
It feels off.
well, yeah, and it's just sometimes it's almost
Before you're
it's
really
almost like
digging deep into...
I mean, computers
you can say why it feels off once you've
Right.
dug in.
computers become their own category of concern or whatever, and whatever they're struggling with, and sometimes I guess you pick up on that pattern. It's like their characters. And it's like, yep, I heard this before. Okay, here's probably how I need to attack this first, and then you just move forward. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but yeah. But I mean, that's just one side of it, and that's kind of how
And that's like the
you.
the bestial version. The
Well, yeah.
command lines you've got to kind of tap into a bit of a
there's the whole
different
flow
part of the
chart of
brain.
attack. It's and it's hard. You know, when you're in a creative mode, you're feeling a lot different. And it's like energy. It's abstract. It's coming from afar. And it's an excitable energy. When you're trying to mitigate a problem or resolve that, you really fall more into a logical side of your brain. And the only way to really become effective at either is to cut the other one off.
Right.
And go full force.
Which is, the two brains. So
Right.
they don't totally interact. Which is why...
It's not effective if it does.
Which is why WinternetWeb had to come up with specific days for things that are computer repair oriented.
Right.
Because going, and like we've definitely have experienced this particular week, is there were certain computer repair issues that just had to be gone ahead and taken care of.
Right. I mean, you do have things that I need to jump on that right now. Before
there was no way of waiting for our specific day. We had to go ahead, get it done.
Definitely.
And any hackers out there listening, we're coming for you. We're so done.
There's a special place in Halloween for you, I'll tell you.
The fact that these people are willing to attack these
vulnerable society,
more vulnerable, usually more elderly society. We're going to take you out one by one, by the way.
Yeah,
and that is not nice, not okay, and we won't stand for it.
Yeah.
So yes, we have had some had to be moments this week.
I guess what you're getting at there is, while we've had to schedule it normally for a particular day of the week. Normally on Thursdays, we try to schedule all of that so that we can focus on that, because it's hard to dance from one to the other. And if every day you're trying to mitigate something, you can never get back into that creative mode of the web design portion, which is a large part of what we do.
Right. And
the majority, really.
The web design part is certainly something where we want to be ready with. We want to make sure we're doing it in a way that's it's a broad concept of understanding navigation, understanding SEO, how we're going to build this for
layout concerns,
right? Google friendly things like that. So we want to make sure that all of the pieces are in play, which still gets to be part of the creative brain.
Yep.
But knowing all of this in the background while you're creating, so that it's not just, creating willy-nilly. It's creating in such a way that we know this is going to be something that really bumps up and shows off.
Because it's never like a template. Oh, give me content, I'll plug it in. I've seen so many quotes from web designers that people have dealt with, and I'm like, I don't even know how they're in business, because it's beyond that. You need to have the vision. Not just from you want the website to look good, you want it to look good on mobile and all of that, and making sure you're paying close attention to a lot of those particulars, but vision in a sense of, like, what are you forefronting? How are you presenting your client in a way that looks professional?
What do we want the user to see first?
Right.
What do we want how do we want the user to navigate back to where they need to be?
Exactly, and the navigation is very important. And you want to leave a good impression. This is you want the person to feel impressed and feel comfortable.
And you want the user to feel unfrustrated and stay and have a friendly experience on the site. So that's all part of our thought process when it goes to creating the design.
Right.
And so that takes a lot of brain power. That is a very important part of what we do.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it is, and people trust us with, something very important to them, which is their...
It's their reputation. It's their livelihood.
Their face out on the web,
exactly.
So everyone can see. So that's a lot of trust, and we want to make sure that trust is, thoughtful.
And I mean, it's and to turn to them and be like, okay, so what do you want it to look like? What do you have and all that? If we kind of left it up to that, then what are we adding as a service? I mean, yes, they could piece it together. And yes, there are technical aspects. But from a creative design aspect, I've always said, talking to clients, it's like, your business. And of course, I know mine. So it's a matter of, I can't expect them to tell me exactly what they want. I mean, that rarely, sometimes it might happen where it's like, look, I have some experience with this, I don't have time for it, but I know I haven't kept up with it in 15 years. So they can kind of talk a little bit of web, but then they're surprised over how much it's changed too, especially with the mobile front.
True.
Yeah.
Responsive is important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how do you prepare yourself for the creative mindset? How do you go into it and that part of the brain? What do you think works?
Prayer always works.
That would be both.
Right. And it doesn't
one versus the other. We're doing a dualism thing here.
Right, exactly. But it's a feeling of, I guess the best thing, when you look at clouds and you kind of see, you make shapes out of it and you see, oh, that's a person, doing this, and that's an animal over there, and it's like looking out into what would be nothing and otherwise seeing the experience, almost like visualizing the site, in action with all the elements there, and you're just kind of picturing that. And sometimes, the colors kind of come to you, some of the I won't say animations, but not, to a like distractive but point, but where you kind of see to what end you want motion to happen as part of the experience. And I mean, we have over 100 active sites. So over the course of our 18 years, we've probably created 250 websites. Some have been redesigns and some have come and gone, but not one looks the same. So you're trying to feel that experience. It's like, if now that I've spoken to the client, I know their business.
I'm building as I speak. Right. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like...
In fact, I know you are, but
Right. Right, because we've been there. We've had a conversation. There'll be times we'll be with a client and we're getting information and I'm like, So I kind of talk to myself. Not quite like Rain Man, but maybe. A little bit. And it's like, I can kind of see this or that. And Melanie's like, I got it in my head. I'm like, cool. You see something? Good. Let's go with that. Remember that. I'll come back to you. So, yeah, you kind of just develop. And again, it's kind of an aura in a way.
Sometimes we agree. Sometimes it's you're like, we had slightly different visions.
It's like, ooh, I like that. Okay,
right.
Cool. But what if we twisted it like this? Together. And it's like, perfect. And it's like, and, but it's excitable. Which is a different mindset. I don't mean to say that the creative aspect of web design is positive and computer repair is negative, but the emotion is different, and there is emotion in both. And emotion creates passion. Emotion is helpful as long as it is working toward your goal and not getting in the way. The emotion behind dealing with a hacker and all that.
Well, negative emotion, I would imagine.
It's a very, very negative, because you're trying to go in and orchestrate the attack that they have, and the steps that they have taken, and where they've hidden files and done things as a way of to rebuild themselves. So it's kind of like war, and when that happens, you end up with just aura. Now, you can't 5 minutes later step over, let me start working on this website, and all of that. So it's kind of like, it's very difficult to kind of make that flip and everything.
And so you kind of went into how you prepare for days that need to be focused a little more into
say
dealing with a hacker or going through some computer scans and things like that.
I mean, you do need to give yourself time to get into that mindset, which again is the whole reason why we split certain things, because there's really no magic trick, but you do kind of have to put yourself, I guess, into where you are in dealing with whatever that is. So it does take a process of visualizing and feeling yourself there before you're there. so that when you are there, you're able to execute and focus and be in the zone.
Right.
So it really does come down to getting in the zone of whatever that is.
Unfortunately, no magical elixir that kind of helps you
No, not
break
really.
into one side of the brain versus the other.
No,
I mean, coffee. That's really helpful.
And there are days that, let's say, hasn't been recent, but there have been days where it's like, all right, what are we going to do today? And you kind of base it off the feeling. It's like, well, I'm feeling creative. Let's go that route. Versus, all right, well, let's figure out this logistical problem with this technology and the software and how we can tweak it and make it work better and all. It does. Sometimes you're lending one way or the other, and it's just a matter of getting yourself there. And the difficulty
easier to
is getting
prepare
back.
for if you already know.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
This is the day I'm going to do.
Right.
Again, be more focused on command code.
Right.
Versus this is the day I'm focusing in on trying to build something.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of industries have this. I mean, if you're going in to do something of a particular nature, sensitive nature or something very emotional, you have to kind of get your brain there, and you have to come home from that. Even like in sports, you have to hype yourself up for the game. So I mean, very commonly, you have these ritualistic things you try to do to get yourself there. So I guess it's no different. And I guess I didn't realize that was the case until trying to juggle these two as frequently. I mean, I've done both for quite some time, but not to this level in frequency.
Right.
So
one thing I know about being the grounding wire is collaboration is extremely important when we go into the creative world of your brain.
Exactly.
And computer repair is a little more like a step a bit away.
Yeah.
Make sure that, it's not too over cumbersome with anything else, which was not the possibility today because we wanted to go ahead and run the podcast.
Sure.
And as you were in computer repair brain and definitely overcumbered. So, so it was kind of okay, we're going to just kind of, zap you till you wake back up.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, especially with a podcast, there's a creative element because you are talking about something, you're having to recall, you're interacting with an audience, if you will. So it kind of becomes, when you're encumbered by something technological, sometimes it's hard to step away from that to find the ability to have a conversation. And when it comes to our business, a lot of what we do is service. And yes, you're dealing with computers, you're dealing with websites, but you're dealing with people.
Oh, yes.
But when it comes to the technological part of it, the intricacies of the ones and zeros, the tweaks that are necessary on a programming level for a website, the way in which you're trying to navigate and determine how something was hacked and how to mitigate that isn't dealing with the person. That's dealing with something very structural. So that balance of it is difficult. So yeah, I mean, coming back to the office and it's like, been dealing with this. I mean, it was kind of like, all right, well, we got to get you there. Because, and, people calling left and right, which, thankfully I am so glad they entrust us with their needs and all that. And it's just a matter of scheduling them and all of that. But getting from that, I guess what was it? We had do we have terminology for the Dr. whatever versus, it's the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but wasn't there something funny?
Oh, yes. Dr. J versus Mr. Winternet.
Dr. J versus Mr. Winternet. Yeah, so...
I'm loving it, by the way.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I think it's great.
Yeah, Mr. Winternet, that's kind of...
Creative versus
That's
curious.
when you're like, yep, I'm here, ready to work on the websites and all that. Dr. J, I guess, would be the more...
Yeah, it's almost in reverse.
It is in reverse. You're right, because
But I would
Right.
almost pick it that way, though, even
Right.
though Dr. Jekyll is, of course,
Characteristically, though.
characteristically the intellectual.
Right.
That is the intellectual man. That is, and then Dr. Hyde. I mean, Mr. Hyde becomes
Yeah.
the bestial version of himself.
Right. Yeah.
So this would almost be a reverse.
Yeah, I guess
whereas
it would be.
Dr. J is the computer doctor, the
Right.
diagnostician, the one that's
Sure.
listening to the frequencies of
Yeah,
things
the
I
nuances
have
of
no way of hearing. By the way, and then Mr. Winternet is da 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 da.
Right.
The guy that's
Here we
going
are.
to
Yep, that's right. We're going to solve all your problems and
yes,
explain this to you. Whatever,
get the face of your company out
Right.
there and
Yep.
show you off to the world.
Right. No, that's funny though.
Yeah, I did really like that.
It's funny being October.
Every once in a while, you
or
gotta ask
motif.
AI some creative questions, and then he comes up with something cool.
Right. That's funny. And being October, like I said, I like the motif of the, it's almost like the Frankenstein monster.
He's so alive.
At least that's what it feels like sometimes. Yeah.
Which is sometimes I feel like Dr. Frankenstein, because it's like that poking and prodding of like,
Right. It's like move.
it's like kind of zap you back.
Right.
Okay, I can get you there. Okay,
That's all right.
we're almost a person again.
Right.
Oh, look at that. We're really close.
It's like, oh, there you are. No, I mean it's certainly interesting. Just the challenges of going back and forth. But yeah, I mean you're talking about like what gets you one way or the other, and I will say it still comes down to trying to visualize yourself there, and it does take prep, but it does take prep to come back. But there are times where it's like you got no choice but to pivot. I mean, we've had situations like trying to work on something, and then like someone comes in, it's like, oh, okay, we need to talk to our client about a website, and you just have to make that switch, like immediately.
Oh yes.
And I'm also very fortunate that you are my grounding wire. That and not only that, but kind of like the status check, kind of like the temperature check. It's like, okay, so now we need you here. But I mean, and you know a lot of both sides and what it requires, to the point you understand. Okay, so you're dealing with this, and here, have you thought about this? And you do help on both sides of that realm.
I understand enough
questioning,
to get
prodding.
the man back.
Is this anything like what you dealt with a month ago with this? And it's like, yeah, actually, it kind of is. Well, let me look at it that way. So, and then I explore that too. So, yeah, I mean, it's like you got to know your dog. And I know I said that. I am the dog, I guess. But in that sense,
I thought your quote was, "You got to know your ghost."
You got to know your ghost. Yeah. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Right. You got to know your ghost. Yeah, we did have that written down somewhere. Yeah. It's just all on the experiences we have and everything. It's just it's funny, and I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I can think of some industries, but for small business out there,
I was about to.
You have to.
Thank you for reminding me of my question. It's not question, but
I'm glad I did without it. No.
But this is a big difference with Wired Together is focused a lot more on small business.
Right.
You were talking at one point with larger business, what a lot of them deal with, but there is a particular part.
It's a specialization.
So everything is
Yes.
typically more specialized, and so your brain
Right.
is in that function
Yep.
more often.
Right.
Whereas small business, and this is all small business. This
Oh, yeah.
is everybody I've ever met in small
Exactly,
business.
right.
We know, quite a few in our area and other areas. Where small business, you're doing all of it.
It's a full.
I mean,
yeah.
you've got payroll, you've got the creative parts, you've got the scrubbing of the toilet. You're doing all the parts, and so your
That's very
brain is
true.
trying to function through all pieces.
Right.
And so that is one of the growing pains that we're dealing with WinternetWeb is all of those pieces and
Right.
and how to and the physical part is easy. You
right,
can
but
think
it's dealing
quite
with,
a bit while vacuuming.
right.
But so that was the easy part, in all honesty, with but trying to navigate through the brain's function of each part and having to bounce around. And so that's the need to, okay, let's not overbounce to the point where we lose too much on either side.
Yes.
So let's make sure that we can focus,
And that way we're not spread too thin from
today
each.
on
Right.
something that is going to be very heavily Dr. J, very,
right.
dealing with the pop-up ads of the era messages that make no sense to everyone else.
No.
And then, the going into today, we're going to focus in, we're going to collaborate, we're going to design.
Right, exactly.
And we're going to really pull something in that's never been seen before.
Yeah.
So those are the two, and of course there's other aspects of things we do, but a lot of those are a little more creative.
Yeah, they are, but you also need to be in that realm too. I mean, say something with 3D printing and all that. Yes, it is creative in one aspect, but when you start digging down deep into the intricacies of
the Tinker programs, or
the calculus, the physics, the math, the geometry that make it happen, and the programming aspect of that, that's a whole different part of the brain. So it's almost like you need to entertain the story long enough to get to the point where it's like, okay, all right, now I need to dive in whole,
right.
And, and same with some of the jewelry and things like that. But like, yeah, any small business, you're handling all aspects of it, and you're having to deal with that balance. So it would be, great to, I guess maybe in some future interviews or some feedback, of other businesses and how they've had to deal with that.
Yes.
That piece.
Please be kind to your small business owners. As you see them, they are possibly brain fried.
Right, exactly. So when they order the wrong thing at the restaurant, or,
right.
or you ask them a question, they go, yeah,
I'll get back to you.
I'll get back.
Right?
Yes. Then it's like
it's possible they've had 50 things on their brain in the
headlights look,
last
where
5
you're just kind of
minutes.
like, I do care about what you're saying, but I'm just getting there.
Right.
And I've seen that look. I know that look. I've lived that look, and we've,
right.
So it's just what it is. And again, and that does come with, like you said, it's not a specialization. And that's why, like big corporate America, that's why they do that. They hire and train you for a certain function. If you want to think of it as the assembly line, okay, I'm the person.
And I'm not saying that's easy, because then you may be all one way and not creative, or creative and not,
that's why people switch
technical. So you've got to be
departments,
able to,
and I know,
right? You don't want to burn out on either or.
No, exactly. You don't. You do want to touch it all.
So we're not saying it's easier. We're just saying it's different.
It is different, but that's why things become how they become. And I mean, any good, say, tech company or whatever industry out there will allow you to dabble and take a break, if you will, by jumping over into another facet to, all right, spend a little time in this department here and come back, which is also very important, because in order to do your job well, you have to understand how others handle theirs.
Right.
So
that's helpful.
I remember when I would go to conferences and everything, and I would speak to people, and of course these are web design conferences, and it would be like, oh, okay, well, we, what do you do? And it's like, oh, well, I'm part of the marketing, or, whatever department. It's like, okay, well, that's cool. And it's like, well, what do you do? It's like, well, I was a freelancer. I was working. This was a part-time gig at that time, so I did everything. So, and they were like, so how do you do that? And you just explain what, but in their vantage point coming into the conference, they're working for a company, and they're sending them off, hey, learn more about the marketing aspect. So, and it was intriguing to me that, wow, it's a specialization, and they were like, you have to do everything. And I'm like, that's so cool. You focus on that, but, we could see the advantages and disadvantages of both.
Right.
But it also made it an intriguing conversation. So how would you deal with that? So, well, how do you do, and it was neat. It was very lively, and it kind of brought the human to the front, because in either way, the machine works differently, but the human is still the same. But yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah.
So,
right,
last question is...
Okay, sure. And then I think we'll close up.
Yeah, it's just going to be a little short one today. What brain do you wake up with?
What brain do I wake up with? Well, the brain I wake up with really having nothing to do with this. Actually, the first thing I think about when I wake up are our daughters. We pack in lunch, and I always have to try to come up with a joke to write on a napkin to put in their lunchbox. And of course, I've used several sources. You look up jokes for kids, right? Now, if I look up jokes for kids on Google or whatever, this has been like 200 times now. It's very hard to find one that I haven't found yet.
Oh, so audience, new jokes, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, a new source of jokes.
So, but what you're saying is you wake up with dad brain.
Yes, dad brain. You do. Oh,
that's kind of cute.
You wake up with dad brain because you have to put jokes on the napkin. So, and my kids say they're dad jokes, and I'm like, no,
they are dad jokes.
I'm like, no, I've had these jokes before I was a dad.
They read them to the whole table, and usually there's a groan.
A groan, or sometimes...
A groan of, oh my God, I can't believe he wrote that joke.
No, I actually find some of the ones that I think are like, okay, whatever, this is phoning it in, or it's like, this is not the best joke. Catch someone funny, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's epic.
Yes.
So the ones I don't think are going to be hilarious... Sometimes their friends
at the table enjoy the joke.
Are the ones that are the winners. The ones I'm like, wait, hold on, you didn't think that was funny? Come on, man, I was laughing, so it... humor hits everyone differently. But I just
doesn't like having a
love
joke
the puns,
on your lunchbox.
love the play on words. Yeah, right. So, but all right. Well, I think this was certainly an episode that I'm surprised that we're 30 minutes in.
Oh wow.
31 and going to be 32.
It's not as short as I thought it was going to be.
No. But yeah, it's just. But I think it does, and I'm glad that you wanted to hit on this because it does lend to that broader segment of small business. And well, of course,
I just love how the brain works.
Oh my gosh, it's an incredible thing.
The more you learn, the more you know you don't know.
And again, AI was not part of this. We're talking about the human.
The human brain is so much more cool than the AI brain.
Right, and what it's able to do is still so much more. And we're just trying to find what that role means in the future. But all right, I guess in closing here, please continue to review or follow us on your favorite platform. It does help us reach an audience, and we're thankful for those that have given us feedback and said, hey, we're listening. We appreciate that. It's October, obviously, and with Christmas around the corner, we do have some unique merchandise online. Of course, we have it in our shop, too. We do 3D printed earrings and fidgets and things, and we have circuit board jewelry, which I really know is a special audience out there. We haven't really pushed it, but it is an interesting gift for that tech geek fanatic that you might know of.
Yeah, we'll push it more when we get some time to do it, but
that's right.
Definitely should push it.
Exactly, we should. So, but I think that's all for today, and again, we appreciate your time and unplugging for now.
But always stay connected.